Hey guys, it's Maddie from Let's Eat Plants, and today we're doing a whole food plant-based grocery haul from Costco. So full disclosure, I don't do a lot of shopping at Costco. I use a family plan with somebody else, so I only actually go a couple times a year. Well, maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, something like that. But I don't shop there for my regular groceries. I usually go to just a regular grocery store and get my produce there. But there are some things that I do like to get at Costco because I find that price-wise, it's actually a really good deal. Things that we eat a lot of, or maybe that can stay in the cupboard for a long time, those are the kinds of things that I do like to get at Costco, especially when it saves money. Okay, so first up, even though I just said I don't really buy produce at Costco, I did buy 3 bags of frozen produce. Now, I was looking for the frozen corn. They happened to be out, but I do really like their organic frozen corn. But anyway, they didn't have it, so I had to settle for these 3. So I just got this really big bag of frozen broccoli. Now, I do mostly buy my produce fresh, especially broccoli when it's in season, but this is for those days when you didn't have time to go to the supermarket and you just need some vegetables really quickly. It's really nice to have frozen veggies on hand. This one, even though it's not organic, it is pesticide free, which I really like. However, the only thing I don't like about it is that inside this big bag, there are little tiny individual packages of broccoli. And I just feel that they could cut down a lot on the plastic use on this. Like normally when I go to the grocery store, I don't like to get things wrapped in plastic. I will avoid it where I can. I usually use those reusable like grocery bags for my produce. Like this one here. So I don't buy this one that often because of that, but they didn't have the corn and I needed some frozen vegetables. So I did buy this one yesterday. Okay, and I also got this very nice, lovely bag of wild blueberries. This is usually the one we get. It is also pesticide free. So even though it's not organic, which is what I would prefer, it is pesticide free, which is great. And this bag lasts us quite a while as well. We mainly use our frozen fruit for adding into oatmeal or smoothies, which I make both of multiple times every week. So that's why this will last us quite a while. I would say like usually around 3 months is what it lasts us. So like I said, I do buy fresh fruit on a weekly basis, but this is really nice to add into smoothies or into oatmeal. So in conjunction with the wild blueberries, I do always buy a second frozen fruit bag as well. Usually I will buy the organic frozen raspberries that they have at Costco because those frozen raspberries are so good. I mean, raspberries are just delicious. But yesterday it was really expensive. I think it was like $15 for a bag this size. So I ended up getting the strawberries, which these ones I've also bought before. They're just organic sliced strawberries, nothing crazy. I don't actually love these because I feel like when they defrost, they get kind of soggy. They're not as good as fresh strawberries. And especially since it's summer right now, there are so many fresh strawberries out. I've just been buying those mostly. But in a pinch, these will work. They also work really well in oatmeal. And they're really good for strawberry chia jam. I do have a video about that. I will link that up here. I have been making strawberry chia jam at home instead of buying store-bought jam. Saves a lot of money and it's a lot healthier. So this is actually really good for the strawberry chia jam, and that's probably what I'll end up using it mostly for. But of course for oatmeal and smoothies, this will do as well. So speaking of oatmeal, we have this really big bag of sprouted rolled oats. So these are non-GMO, they are organic, they are certified gluten-free, and they're sprouted, which as I've mentioned about sprouted grains before, they're supposedly a little bit better for you. So usually I will get the steel cut oats. They have a large bag at Costco of steel cut oats as well, but they didn't have that yesterday. And I will also use these rolled oats. I make things like granola out of them, or you know, just cooking regular oatmeal out of them. So in lieu of the steel cut oats, I got these and I'm sure they will be used up very quickly. Next up we have quinoa. Quinoa. I used to eat a lot of quinoa. I don't know. I went through a phase where I just ate quinoa all the time. I like didn't eat rice. I didn't eat any other grains. It was just quinoa all the time. Because back in the day, it was like quinoa was really healthy for you. It had a lot of protein, etc. So I just always ended up buying it. And I went through a phase where I ate so much of it that I was just like, okay, enough quinoa. I've had enough quinoa. So I stopped buying it for a couple years, but quinoa is really good. It's really good for you. It's gluten-free and it's easy to make. And this one is also organic and non-GMO. So I saw this bag on sale and I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna get some quinoa. We haven't had it in forever. It's gonna make some nice little bootables and even cereal. I used to do quinoa for breakfast and it's actually really good. I'll share that recipe with you guys maybe next week, because quinoa for breakfast, when you get sick of oats, is a good substitute. I do actually have a whole playlist about gluten-free grains. So if you are looking for other gluten-free grains besides quinoa, I will link that playlist right here. You guys can watch those and check out those other gluten-free grains as well. Next up, we have our bread. Now, I don't know if this is really whole food plant-based because it has regular enriched wheat flour. However, I do really like it because it's no added oil, and the sugar in here is from raisin juice concentrate. Pretty good, right? So they do use regular wheat flour instead of whole wheat flour. That's kind of my only meh about it. But I just feel that since the rest of the ingredient list is so healthy, that it kind of makes up for the fact that it's wheat flour instead of whole wheat flour. So this is the multigrain sourdough rye, and I really like the flavor. It's quite nice. I don't know, I like healthy tasting breads personally. So this is what we usually buy. I hadn't had it in a really long time. It's very nice to have this once again. And I just buy 3 loaves. That's how it comes at Costco. Very good price. I think it's $7 for all 3 loaves. And then I keep 1 fresh and put the other 2 in the freezer because it will help them last longer. And you can just take slices directly out from the freezer and put them straight into the toaster oven. You don't actually need to defrost this whole bread. So that's why I really like this, because it'll actually keep for quite a long time in the freezer. So next up we have cashews. Now cashews I also stopped buying for a while because they were just so darn expensive, but I saw that these were actually a pretty good price, and I have been using cashews a lot lately to make vegan cheese. If you want to see that video, I will link that up here as well. So cashews are actually really good to have on hand, and these do last me quite a while. I just buy them and put them directly into the freezer so that they don't go bad, and then I take out whatever portion I need, keep it on the shelf, just a small portion. Let me show you. So these will stay at room temperature, and then as I use these up, I just replace them from the freezer bag into the cupboard, and that way your cashews will stay fresh. Because if you don't know, nuts don't stay fresh forever. They can go bad quite easily. So I keep mine in the freezer, or you can also keep them in the fridge to make them last a little bit longer. So yes, cashews, more vegan cheese. Yay! Okay, next up, let's talk about the tofu. I bought 2 packages of this because this can also go in the freezer. I don't know if you know this, but freezing tofu changes the texture of it to make it better. Like, this is a hack that I've just recently learned. Essentially, you just take a whole block of tofu and put it in the freezer, and then when you're ready to eat it, you defrost it, and the texture is a lot more like, I guess, meaty. I don't know, I guess it's just a lot more like chicken is what people say. So this one I just put in the fridge because we're gonna eat it in probably a few days, but the rest of the blocks I put in the freezer, and then I will just take them out and defrost them as needed. So this one's really good. It's also non-GMO, it's also organic, and the 3-pack is only $7. So I feel it's a pretty good price for organic non-GMO tofu. Okay, next up we have maple syrup. I feel it's pretty self-explanatory. It's maple syrup. But I guess I'll just say I do like to use this as a sweetener instead of sugar. It gets kind of pricey to use a lot of maple syrup, so buying it at Costco does bring the price down. This is 1 liter for I think around $14. It's definitely more expensive than buying sugar, but it is a lot healthier, and so yeah, this is our go-to sweetener. Better than bouillon. This is the broth paste that I'm always talking about in my recipe videos. This is the organic, just plain vegetable one. I also really like the no chicken one and the no beef one, but I haven't seen those at Costco. So I just end up buying this vegetable one when I go to Costco. This is also not super healthy in terms of like strict whole food plant-based eating, but I do find that it works really well and it saves on packaging. This one jar has 76 servings in it. So if you were to buy that same amount of servings in box or carton form, I mean, that would be like a lot of boxes. So I do appreciate the fact that it's a little bit more environmentally friendly. And yes, I could make my own vegetable broth from scratch, but sometimes you just don't have time to do that. So I just go through a jar maybe every couple months, probably every like 3 months or so. And the last thing that I got yesterday at Costco, 2 lovely boxes of organic greens. One is just the organic baby spinach, and one is the organic spring mix. Now, lately we have been eating a lot of greens out of our garden. However, we were out and I just needed some greens. So I did end up getting these 2 boxes. I find that they're pretty reasonably priced at Costco, especially considering they're organic. I think they were $4.50 or $4.60 each. So since we were already there, I did end up getting those to add to salads. And spinach is really great. If you don't know, you could actually take out half of this box and freeze it and add it to smoothies or into soups or whatever you kind of need frozen spinach for. I also find that if you cook it down, of course, spinach shrinks a lot. So that's another hack. When I'm close to the end of the box and it's starting to go bad, I'll just throw it into a pan with a little bit of water, let it wilt down into like a tiny little form, and I'm like, oh hey, I can eat all that spinach, no problem. So 2 hacks there for your spinach. If you don't think you're gonna eat a lot, freeze it, or if you need to use some up, just cook it down and it'll shrink into a tiny little manageable portion. The mixed greens are mainly just for salad, nothing crazy there, although I do use them in smoothies sometimes as well. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will link the recipe videos for the cashew cheese and for the strawberry chia jam if you guys want to watch those after this video. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.